Hello strangers, I'll be making several short videos over the basic components from the depths. These components will include engines, electric engines, AI weapon systems, and weapon systems in general, and how to divert weapon systems onto turrets themselves. These will be very short videos, very being selective, and it's kind of hard to make these videos short for how detailed these items are. Each videos will be anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes long. We'll have a video on each weapons by themselves, and engines by themselves, and AI by themselves. So let's get started to it. To build a engine, you have two engine sources to choose from. You have the electric engine and you have the gas-powered engine. For starters, let's build the electric, or not the electric, the gas. Getting ahead of myself. You click the engine tab, and to show you the allocation for how the inventory works, every subsection, be it either the engines or the weapons or the AI, they kind of show you the groupings of all the items. For instance, the engine block, it only connects to the crankshaft. The crankshaft, it only connects to the cylinder. The cylinder, however, can connect to either the exhaust or the carburetor. And the carburetor can only connect to the supercharger or the engine's own fuel tank. So, luckily the developers realized that a lot of the building systems in this game are very difficult. So they kind of made it as well as they could to make it so it was easy to distinguish what connected to what, so you're not blindly building, trying to make everything work together. Hopefully these videos will save you a lot of grief and time and effort and disappointment that I went through. However, it's fun for me. So, let's see if we can't make y'all pros at this game. You'll throw down on the engine block. The engine block will tell you the stats of the engine. You can look at the item and press Q to turn it off and Q to turn it on. It defaults to be in the on position. You'll use crankshafts to place in front of the engine outwards. You can have as many crankshafts as you want, it doesn't matter. The longer the engine, however, the more fuel efficient it will be, and the better the power output will be. Cylinders connect on the sides and the top of the crankshaft, and on the end. But they do not go underneath. They cannot connect underneath the crankshaft. Cylinders connect to the exhaust. Not the exhaust, they connect, well they do, but the carburetors connect to the cylinders. Dagnabbit. So you have your carburetors connected to your cylinders. You want to have as many as possible. The reason being is exhausts are kind of useless for the percentage that they give you for the bonuses of fuel economy versus power output. They are good for special cases where you cannot use the extra space to have a cylinder, a carburetor, and then a third item, whereas the exhaust is only a cylinder, then an exhaust. Nothing attaches to the exhaust. But on a carburetor, you need the extra space for another item. Oh, let's get building quickly because my platform I'm on is whining to me. Next, you add the fuel to the engine. These fuel tanks are connected directly to the carburetors, and they increase the fuel efficiency of the engine as well as provide power to the engine. The best possible setup is to have 4. However, I like to stick with the typical 3. You can look at them and see that what is connected to it. This carburetor has 2 fuel tanks on it and 0 superchargers. You put the superchargers beside them and they automatically connect. superchargers increase the maximum power output of a single carburetor. If you put a whole bunch of fuel tanks on your engine, it will be very fuel efficient, but the power will be very low. If you put a whole bunch of superchargers on your engine, it will have moderate power, but it will suck all your fuel away very quickly, and that is not good, because now you don't have fuel, which means you don't have an engine. Why would you do that? So, as you can see in this tiny little design, we have 1691 maximum output, and is currently using 3.9 to power these thrusters under this platform, and its fuel usage per power usage is in scientific notation. If this was a lot lower, it would actually have a realistic number that humans, as we know it, could actually read without getting a calculator out of our ass. And the internal supplies is the internal fuel. However, this internal fuel is used slowly on this engine, but it is being used. The way that you keep fuel in your engine is to go to the resource tab. Go to the fuel storage tank. They do not have to be connected. They can be anywhere on your vehicle. And you can see that it is slowly pumping fuel into the engine as the engine uses the fuel. Which you might think these are useless because, well, these are going to run out and they're going to be replenished with these, but then these are going to run out, so I just have to keep making more. That's not how it works. Calm down, sissy. What you need is you need a fuel processor. The fuel processor uses oil. Yes, oil. There are resources in this game. Resources are a component of the campaign mode. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, let's say infinite. You have natural, which is like wood, then you have metal, and then you have oil, and then you have scrap, which is formed from metal and natural by combining them through a scrapping machine, and then crystal. Crystal is used for special thrusters and repairing bots and fancy smashy stuff. Anyhow, we're not getting into that. Fuel processor uses engine power and raw oil to create fuel, which are pumped into the storage tanks, which is then in turn pumped into the engine's own fuel tank. So essentially right here we have an infinite supply of fuel as long as we have infinite oil. And that is how you build a gas turbine engine. Electric engines are very similar. You go to the Engines tab, and you go to the electric engine, and you plop down an electric engine. You can see it has a batteries, a charger, and a charge remaining. What you want is to put them in a grid formation. The more batteries you have, the higher the amount that it will hold. The more chargers you have, the faster it will charge. And then you see it has 11 batteries and 9 chargers. But you might be confused. You might be looking at these batteries saying, why is there nothing going to them? The engine is on, and I got power over here, but why aren't they working? Well, silly, you need a generator. The generator does not need to be connected, and it is manually set for off. So you have to turn them on, and they automatically charge your batteries. They do require power from your main engine. If you turn off your main engine, they will stop thumping around. And now you no longer have a charge. Let's get these bad boys dancing again. Yeah. Shake that stratter. Okay. So now we're charging with juice. And batteries, they can be any size. A lot of people don't like batteries because they seem useless. Why would you build an electric battery when you can just have another gas engine? Well, for how much power you can have in a small battery compared to a small engine, it's more resourceful to build yourself an electric engine. Well, they are also good for small drone vehicles that the AI controls because, well, the small space. As you can see, this small engine has 240,000 charge, while this engine here has, you know, just under 1,700. It's not exactly the same when you convert it. However, it does last a long time for how big you can build these and how many you can build. Well, a lot of people don't like these because it's not permanent power. You use power and it slowly starts to drain. Well, what these are good for is temporary power. When you build a huge weaponized laser system that uses a lot of power, you're going to need a lot of juice very quickly. So these generators are fantastic for putting out power. The electric engines are fantastic at putting out power, because when I enable the engine, you can see at the bottom right I now have 4,091 power. When I turn it off, I have 1,691. And it's about the same size, but it puts out more power, a lot more power, because I could still go up another row and out two, or out one on each side, and go up another stack, and then have a little bit more just sticking out at the top, and this would be just far superior to the gas engine. However, it's temporary. It has to be refueled by the main engine. So they're great for laser systems. Laser systems use a lot of power, as I said, and the lasers, once they finish shooting, your power can recharge back up to full strength again. So these are fantastic for keeping your lasers going strong at the beginning of your fights anyways. And that wraps it up for engines. I will see you in the next video when we talk about simple weapons.